Welcome to Sunday Night Confessions on the Anxiety-Ridden Moms Club, where we trade perfection for honesty, laugh at the chaos, and share the little secrets that make us all feel a little more human.
Every week we read your confessions, funny, messy, heartfelt, and mix in a few of our own because, let's be honest, motherhood, womanhood, and life in general are way too unpredictable to do alone.
So grab that snack you're hiding from the kids, settle in, and remember,
there's no judgment here, just a lot of same girl, same, and maybe a few crumbs in our bras from the snacks we swore we wouldn't share.
Welcome to our very first Sunday Night Confessions here on the Anxiety-Ridden Moms Club, where we're spilling our little secrets, the things we've swore we wouldn't admit out loud, and the confessions you all send us that remind us we're not alone in this wild ride called motherhood and life.
That's right. Think of it as your space to laugh, cringe, and say, oh my gosh, same. We'll share ours, we'll read yours, and no matter what, you're not getting judged here. We're all in this together.
All right, who's ready? I'm ready. Okay, so for starters, Gina and I are both very, very excited about this. This is just something that's going to be a little more off the cuff than a normal podcast. We're going to drop them Sunday nights, the last Sunday of every month. We're going to have a Sunday Night Confessions where we go through confessions that you guys submit. So please, dear God, submit us some confessions.
Yes, please.
Got some good ones to go through today. We're going to talk about any other questions or emails that were submitted and maybe throw out a couple of reviews that we've gotten too. So again, we're just hanging out on a Sunday night and hope you join us. And that's right. Okay, I'll kick us off. Most of you called me out already. They figured out it was me and not Gina that leaves for vacation on Tuesday.
Shocker.
And doesn't have a place booked. Now, at this point in time, so yes, this is true. We're leaving Tuesday very, very early in the morning. We're heading out of town. But at some point, we were kind of flip-flopping because my significant other has a vehicle that is from his original place of residence, which is Florida. So that's kind of why it was last minute, because I was trying to decide if I was joining my family or I was going to Florida, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, now we've got the destination set. I just need to book a place. But I figure at this point, wait until the last minute and see what kind of deals I get for people that offer discounts because the week wasn't booked, right? Or we'll be in a motel, like on the Branson Strip or something. I don't know. It'll be gross, but hopefully I find something. It'll be fine. I've had my eye on a couple. It's all going to be okay. But, everyone called it. It was me. Surprise, surprise. So, Gina, you had a confession.
Okay, so my confession was that with all the kids that are always in our house, we would definitely buy different treats that were just for me and my husband. And then we would hide them, which my husband didn't always understand, but he knew it was necessary at the same time. So we would hide them. And when the kids would sometimes, when we go in the kitchen thinking we're alone, they'd sneak in on us or something. And all of a sudden we'd be shoving something in our mouth and we'd kind of hide a bag or something. And they would ask what we were eating. And we would tell them, oh, I wish we could share these with you, but they'll make you sick. And they'd be like, what? Really? Yeah, we don't even really like eating them ourselves. But for you guys, for sure, we know they'll make you sick. So you don't want to eat them.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We've got another one. This confession was submitted. And by the way, we're going to do these anonymously for right now.
Yes.
In the future, when you submit them, if you want your name and location tied to them, perfect. If you don't, we can do them anonymously as well. But for this Sunday Night Confessions, our first one, we're just going to do all of them anonymously. So if you're out there, you can laugh and shake your head knowing it's you, but nobody else will. So first one up. I wouldn't have it any other way now, but I was convinced H was going to be a girl, and I secretly cried over it for a whole 2 weeks straight. Now I want 20 boys, but I guess since I convinced myself that he would be a girl, I got sad when that wasn't the case.
I understand that.
Totally relatable.
Totally. Completely. I think everybody has that dream of what they're going to have. Totally normal.
You just have it in your head.
Yes.
And when it is off from that and it's not exactly what you expected, I think disappointment's an okay word. It doesn't mean that you love the child any less.
No.
For sure. I mean, I will be honest. I had in my head I was having a boy first, a girl second. I bawled in the ultrasound when they told me Nora was a girl. If that would have went opposite, I don't know. I don't know. I would have been right there with you. So that one we can both relate to.
Definitely.
And it's just about letting go of the picture that you've built in your head.
Right.
And now look at you. You want 20 boys. Right. So
exactly.
We'll take it. The next one. You ready for the next one?
All right. Let's hear it.
Okay. When I was in the hospital after hemorrhaging, man, who knew I couldn't say that word, with, we'll say baby B. Mm-hmm. Everyone was trying so hard to get me together with baby B at the hospital. He was also in the hospital after just having him. He was fine, just being monitored. And I felt like I was about to die. And I had the baby blues. And honestly, I didn't want to see him and I didn't want to hold him. And I was like, damn, can you at least give me a day to come alive again? Mm-hmm. And to this day, I feel awful. I feel so bad. I feel so bad about it still to this day that I didn't want to hold my baby in that moment.
So, well, I guess if I don't really believe that, honestly, that you should feel bad about that at all. I definitely would let go of that guilt, because otherwise then it would make me feel like I'm supposed to feel guilty. Because when I would go to the hospitals, I've never wanted to hold the kids the whole time I was in the hospital. I think at that point, you've gotten through all your pregnancy, you're tired, you're worn out, whatever stressors has happened to you during that delivery, you kind of do want to break. I don't think it's abnormal. When I had Kylie, I even just simply told Tom, when we have her, I'm not going to hold her. I'm not changing a diaper. I'm not doing I don't want to do anything for her. I want you to hold her where I can look at her. I want to have her near me. I need to let me catch my breath and get my stuff together, because when we go home, she's all me. I mean, that's for sure happening. So it wasn't like I don't think it's all about that you're trying to be like you don't want your baby. I just think it's that you got to recoup. I think people need to take care of themselves, and that's exactly what it is self-care. Self-care.
And I will say too, when I had, we've talked about before that Wyatt was very, very early, and then I was in the hospital a week before having him. And I had an allergic reaction to Reglan that made me want to jump out of the hospital hospital window. That was no lie. But on like the 7th day of my hospitalization or whatever, I'm like, get this thing out of me, whatever the cost is, like, get this thing out of me. And I feel bad about that, because I'm like, my butt didn't want to lay in this hospital bed anymore. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I would have laid there for as long as it took. It was just, we've got hormones going crazy, and sometimes we can't quiet the crazy thoughts that right. We're having. So,
and lots of people have them. That's just not uncommon. We are not alone.
You are not alone, and we want you to lose that guilt, because
right. Just
at some point, yes, we've all been there and we've all done that.
Yes.
And we have another confession. I think it might be from somebody's burner account we've previously mentioned, but I'm a bit on the heavy side. Same girl. I love food. And when my kids and beautiful grandbabies were young and always wanted my food, every time I would tell them it's spicy. So if I'm eating Skittles, they're too spicy. You don't want any.
Right. It's no different than me saying, it'll make you sick.
It'll make you sick. That's too spicy.
That's totally normal, and it's a great thing to say to your kids.
Absolutely. So again,
no harm.
Sis, you are not alone.
Definitely not.
For sure. I love this. I think this is just an opportunity for us to
help reassure each other, help reassure you guys, and make us feel not so alone. If I get to hear some of your confessions, I'll be like, oh, okay, good. I'm not abnormal.
Yeah. And let's not forget that when we started, the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club, it was, yes, obviously it's the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club, but it was things about not only being moms, but career moms.
Right.
And so if it's something that happened at work this week that's out of control, or something, in your mom life, or something in any of your life, your dog shit on the rug and your Roomba smeared it all over like, those are the things we want to hear.
Right.
We want to talk about. We want to let you know that you're not alone. We're here for all of it.
Right. And we want the confessions, obviously. So those are always, I think, a great way for us to support each other. And then we also want questions. So if we can help add that support by you guys give us a question and maybe we can give you our opinions or advice. We help each other even in that way.
Yes. So about the questions, we had some, when we put out there that we were looking for some episode ideas for episodes and different things. Some came through that are more like questions or maybe something that we talked about in previous podcast episodes. So we want to run through those questions as well. Anytime, at any point, you can reach out to us on any of the social media platforms or via email with questions, episodes, confession, whatever it may be. Reach out to us and we promise, cover it at some point. So that's kind of what we want to get into next is just some of the,
a few of the questions at least that we did receive. So let's go with one that I received was how to support a new mom with a newborn. Example, they're asking about babysitting, food, stuff like that. So I'll start with my opinion. So for me, I think that all new moms have different ideas of what they want to have happen, right? So you have your beliefs of how you want other people interacting with you and your child, how much you are open to even other people holding a newborn baby. So I think that it's about maybe doing some digging of things that mom likes. I think especially even with the food. Maybe sometimes I saw this thing on TikTok that was real cool. This guy was talking about how he wanted to do something really nice for somebody he was friends with. And so he looked through their page, and on their page, he noticed that they were mentioned something about loving eating tacos. So he just simply, and from even a restaurant that was one of their favorites. So he literally just ordered tacos from that restaurant and had them DoorDashed to their home. And they actually even called him crying and said, how did you know? And like, oh my, you don't even know what this means to me. So I think sometimes it's more about, everybody always says, oh, yeah, they need food and they need babysitting. But I think it's sometimes about looking into them and maybe something that would be special that showed that you took that extra moment to find out about what's important to them and then do that for them. And it can be the simplest things. Or it could be, hey, do you want me to come to your house? I'll wash your dishes while you hold your baby. Or I'll hold your baby while you do something yourself if you want. But I think it's more those kinds of figuring out what they love. And maybe in ways of asking family, friends, or even their spouse, something that you can do that would be helpful. Just because everybody's a little different, and you definitely you're trying to show that you care and you want to give help, but you don't want to do it in a manner that makes anybody feel that you're trying to do something maybe that they don't want you to do. There's always that fine line.
For sure. And a lot of this we did talk about too in the Pregnancy Unfiltered, the real story episode. And I think it comes back to, from my opinion, it comes back to everyone has their own set of boundaries and kind of what that looks like.
Yes.
You don't want to impose, but you also don't want to stay away, because I've had conversations, in my family where it's like, well, they haven't even met my second born.
Right.
So I think you're absolutely right. And I think it's personalizing the experience, quote unquote, if you will, like what that person enjoys. Maybe it's for me, find out where they get a pedicure.
Yep.
Because what would be nicer, you can take your newborn baby to get a pedicure, whatever it is. Or when somebody does come over to watch, like that's something they can go and, it's cheap enough, $30, whatever. But as Gina mentioned, finding out what makes that person tick, that's personal for that person. And that will go so far.
Yes, I definitely think so. So that's our 2 cents on that one. Okay.
So what's up next?
Okay. So the next one is, how do you keep that balance as a mom? Like as a partner, still being a good employee, and still keep your sanity. What's your advice?
I think what we've learned in these last couple of episodes is that I am the unpredictable, psychotic, crazy one, and you're kind of the voice of reason. So I don't know. That is something that I struggle with every single day, week, month. It is the balance and figuring it out. We've talked about my career changes and shifts, and now I'm learning. So every day I feel like I'm learning to balance the work from home. My kids are entering the teenage years, and this is all uncharted territory for me. So I'm going to punt it right over to my co-host to give us some advice on how to cope.
And this might be something that probably I feel is one of the easier questions for me. So I've always, I even tell my kids all the time, balance is extremely important. So I think that you have to definitely always make time for all these things. I think it's almost like, even at work, you have schedules. You really do have to have a schedule at home. So making sure you have date nights. Sometimes people act like, well, here's what I always worry people do when they think of, I got to go on a date night with my husband. They either have to make it miraculous or they do the same thing over and over. So I think it's more about just like that you make sure that you even have like maybe even, I don't know, once a week that you run off and can have an appetizer somewhere just to chat. Maybe the next time it's going to be, we're going to, be at home and we're going to snuggle up and we're going to watch some movie together. But we're going to do something that at the end of the day that we connected just us outside of the kids. And I just think you don't have to allot hours on end. And maybe some weeks you're going to miss it. But I think it's incredibly important that you schedule that time with your partner to have some fun. Obviously, being an employee, I don't know. I just think it's about if you've got balance at home where you have schedules, maybe you prep food, snacks, whatever, make it easy for you when you send the kids off for lunch and, for school, then you can drop them off and get to work. And everybody knows what you're supposed to do at work. So I don't think there's much to say about that one. But keeping your sanity through all of it, keeping connected to your partner, I think is incredibly important. I'm very big on it is you and your partner first, and then it's your kids.
I am very terrible at that.
Some people would disagree with that too. And
I don't disagree.
But a lot of people don't lead their lives that way.
But I don't lead my life that way.
And so we have definitely had different things where, let's say my husband's getting on the kids too hard and I'm not agreeing with what he's saying. We would not say anything in front of the kids that we didn't agree with it. So we might find a way to, maybe we need to take a break for a minute. Like, hey, you know what? Let's take a break for a little bit from the argument you're having with this kid so we can talk about it. And then that's when you can maybe say to the other person, okay, you're getting a little nuts. Like you're like way, way too angry over something that's not that serious. And so I think it was always us checking in with each other and making each other just important and not disrespecting each other in front of the kids because the kids had to always feel we were united. And instead, I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm protecting my kids. And there's even a thing on Steve Harvey. There was some TikTok thing and he was talking that some lady was talking about, I think my husband's, hard on the kids. And so I just have a problem with it. And he even said his advice was, do you feel like you married a good man? And she's like, yes. Would you want your boys to end up like your husband? Yes. Then let him do his job. And sometimes as women, we want to be the protectors and that's my baby and there's tears. Yeah. But that's okay when you have boys sometimes because sometimes I think they have to be put in their place in a different way than us as moms can put them there. So I do think it comes from you have to be connected together as a partner. I think anything you balance would be the most important thing that you need to work on. Everybody. I think it's the most important thing. And I would talk to couples that were older, been married, 45 years plus. And you'd see the ones that look very happy flirting with each other. And then you'd see the ones that just, they're together. They've just been together. They exist. And so I always did ask the ones that were happy why. And they always basically came back to talking about the fact that they made each other important in the relationship and they didn't sweat the small stuff, but they came first. And that doesn't mean you don't ever argue or have problems. Everybody has that. But when you're talking about balance and you're talking about keeping your sanity, that is what will keep your sanity.
I've had a boyfriend tell me once, like, you're not always going to be my number one priority. Well, this isn't going to work out then. No. Because you're mine in everything that I do. And if it's not the same, then we're not the right people for each other. And I think that is super, super important. And I think that with this question, we also have a future episode idea, and that is to talk about life with boyfriends and step parents, because I know that there's a struggle, and I know that something that myself and Sound Guy struggle with are just, when and where he can step in, and that I support him and how I support him. And I don't do the best at that. I probably need to do better. But then, there are times where I do feel like maybe not the best approach, but I need to work on not calling him out necessarily in front of the kids.
Yes.
Doing it, one off to respect him as a human. So that's definitely something.
Well, and it's your respect towards him. It's also teach your kids that they should have respect for him too.
Yes, for sure. For sure. So I like that one. That's a good one. And we're also going to put it on our...
I definitely feel that's a good topic of going along with your blended families and those kinds of things. I think we have a lot of good discussion around that. I mean, we both have those situations going on, and there's a lot of different things that go into that to make it work.
A lot of different dynamics.
Yep.
A lot of different dynamics.
But I love the question. It was good.
Me too.
I do.
That was a good one.
Yep.
We got another one?
Let's see. There is another one is how relationships with partners, friends, or work, etc., things of that nature, change after having kids, still making yourself a priority.
That's a tough one too.
It is a tough one. But I think that to be a little bit honest, I think they kind of a little bit tie together. I do think that they definitely change. I think especially after you have a newborn, the first year it's a big adjustment. I think if you, again, go back to making sure that as partners, you constantly are checking in with each other. How are you doing? How are you doing? Because it does revolve around the kid when you have a newborn. I mean, it has to. I mean, they're waking up throughout the night and you're not used to getting up throughout the night and doing all those things. And then you come home from work and you're straight into doing all these things for a newborn again, that just don't lose sight of each other in the process, because you actually can help each other, support each other compared to falling apart. And I think it's really common that it is a time when a lot of people tend to fall apart. And even, my son Casey, he's got 2 boys, and he even said when they first had that first one, which they actually were living with us they moved in right before she had Easton, and then they were with us for about 8 months. Well, I mean, I loved it because they were always, I'd get to have him every night for at least an hour so she could go shower and kind of get herself in order, and then she'd get him back and do her thing. And it was helpful. But he even said when they even just moved out, it was trials and tribulations. I mean, it's a rough time when you bring a kid into the home and you try to make sure that everybody's getting sleep and functioning, and now you're tired and crabby and kind of can lash out at each other. So I think it's important. I think it's the biggest thing I could ever say.
Yeah,
checking in with each other.
I think for me, there's no right or wrong answer, and you're not going to do it the same as your neighbors next door, the people that you watch on Facebook. Every couple is going to have their own trials and tribulations. I'll use your words, but it's going to, there are factors that it depends upon too. Did you have the baby on a Friday and your husband's back to work on Monday? Does your husband have paternity leave like you do? Are you breastfeeding to where they can or can't feed the baby a bottle overnight? Are you, it's so hard to be moms. I think for me, I get jealous that the men don't have the raging freaking hormones that go along that, and they look at us like, oh God, and she's getting those crazy eyes and she's about to go off. Yeah. You have no idea what is going on inside of these.
Right. Well, it's just like some of these women with postpartum depression, it can get really bad, and then
I just read an article of someone dropping, how they have the, safe drop off spots at the fire, a lot of firehouses and things, like the safe haven boxes or whatever they are. And she dropped off her twins that, I guess there's a cutoff that you can or can't drop your kids off. And she dropped off twins that were older than that cutoff. And you just wonder. She had their clothes, she had food, she had everything. And they asked her, they're like, are you sure? And she, and you just wonder if it's the hormones and the postpartum stuff, because I don't think, most people are going to want to drop their kids off. And obviously,
but it would be a better situation than some of the horror stories that you hear of things that have happened, that that it is truly these women just went through such an imbalance in their hormones and they are not who they are and have done some horrible things that, prior to maybe having kids, they would have been, that never would have been even an idea or a thought. So, I mean, sometimes it's kind of, I don't know, almost sad that there's not a place that doesn't have having a cutoff age. I mean, I get it, I guess, but I don't know. At the same time, don't you think that if you need a break, what if you don't have family?
My 10-year-old off in the box, right. Be like, not today, Satan. No.
You know what I mean? Like, there should still be something that I don't know. I just feel like
protect these children.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. I mean, and why should the mom instead feel forced to be taking care of to child at the moment that they're really going to have a break or something? And
you know, that's something too with the hospital. They used to, even just the difference between my 14 and my 10-year-old, like when I had him, and obviously he was in the NICU and I didn't get to spend hardly any time with him, but I've heard moms say, like, the nurses would take them to the nursery to give you a break. And now it's all about the baby being in the room all the time. Mm-hmm. It's like, my God, you just, whether it was a vaginal birth or a C-section, you just went through trauma. Your body went through
trauma. That's why you need to tell them to take them to the nursery.
Don't be afraid, moms, to tell them, take them to the nursery. You need a minute, because that minute or that nursery will not be there when you get home. No. So get your shit together before you leave the hospital. Yes. But again, it just goes, you know, women supporting, like, stop judging, because we don't know what's going on. And
this is why, too, that people need to reach out for help. They need to tell people ahead of time before people have a baby. Tell them that they're here to help, and that they understand that there's postpartum depression, and that there's times where it's too much, and that there's no judgment. You just call. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. I think it's important to put that list together before you have those situations.
And we're here to help you. I don't know so much about, like, taking your newborn. Gina might, I don't know if I'll sign up for that, but I will take them off your hands for an hour or two for sure. No,
I'm the type, you drop them off, I'll keep them. I love having them. I don't want to raise them, full time forever if I don't have to, but I definitely have no problem with getting some kids dropped off. I've had extras live in my house too many times as it is anyways.
There you go. What else do we have? Anything else submitted to us?
No, I think that was kind of just some of the other ones that we did have were kind of along the same lines. So I think that realistically it kind of sums it up for where we're at this week.
That's amazing. I do have one other thing that I would like to share on this special edition of Sunday Night Confessions. And I hope this person doesn't mind me sharing. But I had a really cool moment this week with the Anxiety Ridden Moms podcast and a review. So I just want to share this review with you guys because it's why we're doing this. And it means so much to me. So I got a comment, I guess, if you will, that said, I had no idea you were starting a podcast for all of us spiraling perimenopausal moms. You did what I didn't have the ovaries to do, and thank you. As long as one of us blunt, bold, anxiety-ridden mothers did. This is awesome. Thank you from so many moms in the area. I will definitely spread the word. And it made my whole day, week, life. Mm-hmm. We want comments and thoughts and all of the, we want the feedback. And if you're annoyed by us, like our daughters are, we'll take that feedback too. But this person has no idea how much that meant to the both of us, just reaching out and we've said it in episodes before. If we can help one person, and to me, that sounds like we helped one person, and that makes this all so worth it. Yes. So we had a pretty great week. We were celebrating. We are now up to over 400 downloads in 30 days. We've made it to about 60 cities. We've made it to about 60 cities and 4 countries, and that's because of you guys. So
yeah. See, this is why we love Sunday Night Confessions and Questions, because we've all been there.
If you want to be a part of next month's episode, send us your confession. Big, small, funny, messy. Send us a private message on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, or drop it anonymously to our email at thearmc2025@gmail.com.
Your secrets are safe with us until Sunday night rolls around again.
We'll see you next month for more Sunday Night Confessions.
And questions.
We'll see you next time. Hey friends, we are so excited to announce the winner of our very first contest. Drum roll. It goes to Ashley Ferguson. Thank you so much to Ashley and everyone who liked, shared, and helped us spread the word. Because of you, our little village keeps growing bigger and stronger every single day. Stay tuned. This is just the beginning. We've got so much more coming your way. Until then, thank you for being a part of the Anxiety Ridden Moms Club. And Ashley will reach out in the next day or two for your winnings. Thanks. Have a great Sunday night.